divert this action of protesting.
Okay.
And some of us obviously try to call using the same medium that we thought negotiation was the best way out.
Okay.
In as much as I would not want to deny any man his inalienable constitutional right to go in the street and protest and peacefully assemble.
Yes.
You know, I would not want to also see that Liberia returns to the dark days.
Of course.
And so, like you said, it's really going to be a test to our maturing democracy. I think I would consider it one of the biggest tests we've had in post-war Liberia.
Okay.
You know, because this seems to be, especially with the length of time that the protest has been talked about.
Yes.
And all
the
of
publicity
the
given.
the kind of publicity that was given to
Yes.
it about 2 months back now. You know, it's long enough time to have had people change their minds and be able to find reasons why they must go in the street to talk to their leaders, you know. And we believe that if Liberia must again be appreciated by the international world, that indeed we're saying no to violence and yes to peace, and that we want to sustain this peace, that we're dead serious about sustaining, then this is going to be one test that we must pass.
Okay.
And I think that is the ultimate message, because none of us, having tried to put our broken lives together, having tried to pick up the pieces from the ashes of war and destruction, self-destruction, and every other thing about it, no one wants to return to the dark days.
Of course not.
And so it's incumbent upon all of us Liberians.
All of us.
Because tomorrow is not just the Council of Patriots that are going to the streets.
Of course no.
It's Liberians who feel the conviction that they should be a part of a cause. It's Liberians who believe that their voices must and should be heard in ways that the kind of anticipated change that they want to see happening is driven by, you know, these are the people,
which is a process.
which is a process. But
Of
again, you know, sometimes we tend to believe that yes, change is a process. But again, if you look at the kind of expectations of Liberians, you know, especially when the new government came in, the expectations were so high.
Very high.
You know, and
that started long ago.
Yes, and because the CDC regime, the current regime, you know, kind of campaign on the mantra of change, yeah, everybody expects that, yes, by now we will begin seeing, you know, but it's a real complex
On
thing,
the other
you know,
hand, everything is not rosy.
everything is definitely not rosy.
So we are telling you not only about the protest on tomorrow, but we try to find ways to get the audience via the social media. So let's see whether we can join our reporter. This is a test transmission, so we are joining Zach Sherman. I understand he's somewhere around the Capitol bypass there. He will be joining us very shortly via mobile. So as soon as that works, and trust us, everything will be on course tomorrow. We will announce the number for you to participate on the show right here as we set our special studio. Let's say good evening to you, Zach Sherman. Thank you for joining us.
Because we understand that this most publicized protest that has been planned since 2 months, you know, and it has been something like a lot of Liberians waiting on as to how it's going to be peaceful or not, and we are wishing that a good positivities come along for that. And right now, is to be specific, is the UN Drive and of course Camp Johnson Road interception, and this is one of the routes at which the protesters are going to be using. And I was fortunate to have met with Henry Costa, one of the organizers, and of course Darren Dillon, and of course they ensure us that with the negotiation, with the discussion, the dialogue between they and the government, this is one of the sides at which they are going to be using. So as it stands now, this is one of the places that they are going to be using the protesters are going to be using in order to avoid or not to infringe on the right of all citizens by their own movement, because you have a lot of people moving here and there. So they are using specific areas at which these protesters are going to be using to avoid to avoid congestionedness into the traffic.
Okay, Zach.
I'm getting.
Though I'm at a clear view, but if the audio, am I breaking? Because we want to make sure that this is well done so that our people do not face problem tomorrow.
Okay, maybe we're trying to work on it more better. Like you said, it's just a test and translation, and where we will be bringing on coding, wherefore we will be, and of course, I don't know whether you are getting me right now.
You're very clear, Zach.
Okay, so like I said, this is one of the places, one of the things that we expect the protesters to be, to avoid crowdedness along the road, because they don't want to use the principal streets of Monrovia so that they can block the movements of people here and there. So, like I said, I talked to Darius Dillon, of course, Henry Costa, those key organizers of the Council of Patriots, who said that with these talks between they and government, this is one of the places they are going to be using, and they don't want to use the principal street. And of course, they ensure peace, a peaceful mood, peaceful understanding, and of course, coexistence, as there will be handing over their plight to the government and other international partners.
Thank you so much, Zach Sherman, for that effort. Our reporter, Zach Sherman, speaking to us from the intersection of Camp Johnson Road and, of course, UN Drive here in central Monrovia. Vavi, I think you listened to the audio very clear. I think this is one of the things we are working on, one of the many things that we're putting in place so that our people can get us from the diaspora, from Lofa County, Maryland County, Bon County, central-most Liberia, and all parts of the world, because KMTV, we are the only institution that goes across the world. I mean, we touch the bases of the 7 continents. We can brag of that because that is a reality. But one question, I don't want us to talk much about, the protests, how it all started, because we all know the history. I mean, it is now called the famous, or the to be famous June 7 protest. Okay, so it has been publicized a very long time. But let's talk about our own organization here in-house. What are some of the things people expect to see from you, from me tomorrow? How balanced? What is the assurance that we can give people that we will remain very professional in terms of the kind of broadcast, the quality of broadcast we will be giving them tomorrow?
Beautiful, beautiful. Tomorrow, KMTV is coming across, like you said, very, very clearly across the, did you say 6 continents or?
The 7 continents.
7 continents.
Yes.
Well, that's a thumbs up for KMTV, and I like the broadcast. In no time we've gravitated to an almost international, in fact, an international standard, and KMTV is regarded as the #1 TV in Liberia.
Okay.
And so it will be a good thing to be on this platform, sharing it with you, who's one of the renowned anchors. I normally would admire, a lot of your reportage.
Oh, really? Is it because you are
Obviously.
before me today?
No. Obviously, I've always said that,
Okay.
except that you've taken it with a grain of salt, perhaps because of our relationship, But honestly,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, honestly, you deserve the compliment. You're one
Thank
of
you.
those aspiring journalists who keeps aspiring or inspiring young people in the field. So what we're going to be doing is a play-by-play commentary of what will be happening, beginning with a complete background of the entire June 7 thing.
Yes.
You know, this thing is like, it's like telling a story.
A story.
And tomorrow we want to see the entire climax.
Yes.
Or what
so
could
that
be,
people can have an imprint.
very well. What
Yes.
could be the beginning of a resolution?
Yes.
You know, to this whole matter, because for too long, the thing about June 7 is on the lip of every child. You know, someone was
Even
telling
in the
me,
traffic.
yeah, someone was telling me that their daughter came from school, and whilst the child was in a conversation with her mom, she asked her mom, is June 7 Judgment Day? They say God coming on June 7. And surprisingly, that child has got her own feelings, you know, about June 7 that is being pronounced on the lip of every Liberian right now. You know, concerns are there. Will it be peaceful? Will it not be peaceful? You know, and at the end of the day, what our duty is to ensure that we give the news as it unfolds.
Okay.
That we tell the story as it unfolds. It's like going to a game, a UEFA Champions League or an El Clasico, where you really don't know who's going to win. But in this case, it's not about who wins or who lost.
Okay.
It's about Liberia,
Our common patrimony.
The common denominator being the centrifugal point of this whole, you know, thing. Is about moving Liberia forward. And so this is something that should be in the interest of all of us Liberians. We must not see it as a doomsday. You know, it's not a doomsday. It's not going to be one. We will survive beyond June 7. So yesterday, I just got the conviction to post a line.
Okay.
And I said, Liberia too will survive, you know, in spite of the despite. And so we are going to challenge Liberians, even today, as we are hours away from the protest. We are going to challenge them to ensure that we all survive what people see as, you know, a descending gloom and a descending dome.
Yes.
I want to refuse all of that.
Of course.
And I believe Liberians will definitely prove to the world that we are a responsible, a civilized group of people who have fought hard to harness this peace that we've enjoyed for almost 2 decades now, and we will not allow anything to allow it to slip away.
But, you know, one key thing that comes to my mind is the alleged action of some Liberians who do not want to be controlled, who have a fixed mind, to go outside of the scope of operations on the main day. I say this to say, yesterday on Capitol Bypass, I guess you watched that scenario, there was a little scuffle between police and solidarity groupings that gathered to show love to their representative of District 10, Honorable Yeke Koluba.
Okay.
Yesterday I was there. The guys were parading from one end to another, and the police attempted to bring all of them to a fixed location, just one place, so that traffic could not be stored, the movement of people, so that you don't infringe on the rights of others. And so in that, it didn't take long. I don't know what happened, but the stones started coming from almost across, all over the road. And we had to, like I said in the live yesterday, we had to take a tactical, journalistic security approach. Yes, yesterday. So
where were you when the stones were flying?
At
some point in time, you were so visible, clearly before the camera.
Yeah, after a certain time,
both the cameraman, you were nowhere
I took my sabbatical.
inside.
So, but honestly, with that kind of thing that took place yesterday, people got afraid, and we received calls from our families and friends across Liberia. What's happening in Monrovia? Should we buy rice to keep it? Should we keep our children home? And all of these things, because there is a common saying in Liberia that says, when your Ramadan will be good, you will know definitely from the eve of the Ramadan. When the Christmas will be good, you will know from the eve of the Christmas. So the eve June 7 was that kind of way a little bloody because a police officer sustained injury straight in the mouth, and I really felt for him yesterday.
Wow. Well, I watched the video, and I saw the commentary, I saw the action. I think it was rather unfortunate. You know, it was an unfortunate incident because the police, no doubt, no matter how aggrieved and agitating we can become, you know, we cannot become the enforcers of the law. So we've got to understand that, look, the police who wear the uniforms, the police who are under the emblem and the seal, of Liberia, the country that we all vow our allegiance to protect, we must respect our authorities.
Of course.
Beginning with the very security apparatus that we have. And tomorrow, you know, or a few hours from now, the onus is going to be upon Liberians to carry out the utmost discipline. I know there will be obviously agitation. I will wish that the agitation should be about venting out what the problems are, as opposed to finding that kind of reprisal approach.
Yes.
As you see in the picture.
Yes.
I think they stood in the way of the police and refused to move. Whether there was a command that went to them telling them, look, you have to leave from here. Now you see the rocks were being thrown in the process.
Those foreign materials.
Very well. And in the process, that's how the police officer sustained the warrant.
Okay.
So we have to understand that, look, our agitation, our rebellion, every form of reprisal must be targeted towards the message that we have to give.
Yes, to the
Give
government.
the message with all the enthusiasm.
Okay.
Give your message with all of the feelings that come from your very belly and how you feel about what's happening in your country.
So that when
Because
you're
I
walking
understand
back
there's going to
home,
be a petition. So that when you're walking back home, you walk back empty.
empty.
So you don't want to go there filled with all of those agitation and leave.
Grief, yes.
And leave without expressing them.
Okay.
So I think the best way to express our agitation, those of us, those who will be going at the June 7th protest, is to ensure that we do it with the highest level of civility. That is in our actions.
Tolerance.
Yes, tolerance.
Yes.
And tolerance is very important. Tolerance is important not just for the protesters,
Of course.
but also for the government,
The government of
securities.
Liberia.
Because I tell you what, given that experience, you would notice that even some of the very aggrieved students who were in a way shoved from the way or were sent back by the police, there would be, some of them would obviously be a part of the protest tomorrow.
Of course.
So the thing is, the police officers who have a national duty and responsibility will be the very same ones expected to guide and protect them. So you're not going to go see one officer who has his helmet and with the shield and everything protecting you, and in a bit to doing that, the thing turned chaotic. Some of you can't control. They're going to start throwing words at the very police officers. Some of them going to start agitating again, even though the police officers would be guiding and protecting them.
At the same time,
they will be agitating.
Okay.
So even the security officer, and that is why I like, I don't know whether you listened to the IG. I think he was very, very blunt when he assured Liberians of the police being at their best and being robust in ensuring that every Liberian is protected on tomorrow.
That statement was even reiterated by the president today at the dedication of the Dupont Road Market in Pinsville, where he made a very strong statement. Beginning tomorrow or the day after, no Liberian will insult the presidency.
Oh, that came
or
up
yesterday. No Liberian will insult the presidency and of course other government officials and walk free. He said, I defy, and I'm quoting the Liberian president, I defy anyone, any Liberian, to insult the presidency and walk free. You will be dealt with according to the laws of the Republic of Liberia.
Was he not referring to the protest or?
No. He was talking about the usage of social media and of course, yes, raining insults on the president and of course government officials. Okay, so that was the point he was trying to put forward. So I mean, we can say for a fact, we as journalists, Liberians, we are here, we see some of the comments on Facebook, they are not good toward our leaders, which is not good. But before we can close up, I will come to you with one final question. Maybe I will have my take on that as well, and then we can wrap up this conversation here, a build up to the June 7th protest. You listen to him very clearly. We will try our best. No matter how white or pure you are in doing what you do, you will still be criticized. And criticism is just a part of life. We must all accept it, move forward. It helps to build you up. Maybe someone is sitting in a corner somewhere, is watching you or taking stock of everything that you say. But at the end of the day, maybe because of oversight and some of the enormous challenges that you face as a person, you were not able to implement all of those that you promised in the past. So your critics are there to remind you of those promises you made in the past. Okay, so we will accept criticism. We are open to that. If it is constructive and genuine, we will take them, work with them, and forward. So tomorrow we can promise you nothing but our very best. We will remain balanced on this platform. We will give you the lines, and that will be posted on our social media page. We are on Nanasa. KMTV is on Facebook. We will be on YouTube and other networks available to you. We're trying our best way possible to reach out to you, even if you don't have money on your phone, so that you can watch us tomorrow as we bring you exclusively events here in Monrovia, Liberia. So we'll be visible. Visibility, forget about it. I don't have to tell you that I come from KMTV. Maybe you've seen my face on the TV before and don't really recognize me, but I will have on my should I say my regalia tomorrow? Yes,
the
and,
full one, right?
And yes, and my gadgets.
I too will have one.
Yes, my gadgets will be with me tomorrow as well. So as soon as you see me, you will know exactly that I come from a reputable institution, a well-recognized, well-respected institution. I don't have to blow my own horn. But we are fully prepared for this. By the help of God, early tomorrow morning, we're going to show you how Monrovia will be like, whether it is raining or not. Forget about rain, we got rain proof. They say it can only rain on the army, it can rain in the army. So despite rain, whatever weather, you will still see the images tomorrow. We can assure you that we will be here. When you do bad thing, the camera will pick it up, we show it. The police, you not are professional, we will show it. You are professional, we will talk it. Protesters, you take stone, you throw it first, I see it, I will show it, and I will talk it. You know, we will be, I won't use that phrase, but we will be very straight. We will be very straight tomorrow. Very. Okay, so we have our team members. Vavi joining us tomorrow as a guest, a professional guest presenter. Alexander Wiapla, our CEO2, CEO1 is Randall P. Jackson Rampaja, as we call him. Emmanuel Dojainen, the man who is responsible for the finances. You know, when you run small, no water, you come and say, email, you know, give money for water. All the kind of leone. Yeah, tomorrow we'll do it. Yeah. Because tomorrow we're hoping that this place will be, you know, very, very set. And we'll also bring people into our studios. Yes, sure. Talk to
Obviously.
them. Amos Kozawu. Yes, all the way to the end. Amos Kozawu, Rufus Mombo, Zach Sherman, Anthony Kokwe. Our only lady. I mean, are we gender sensitive at KMTV?
You probably ask this question.
Yes. We have Sialim Bokari, our queen. So Sialim Bokari will be a part of the team. Josiah, our manager, wow, I would have been held in contempt without calling the manager's name. Josiah Wia, Godfrey Nana Kwanzaa Badu, Victor Rubin, the rest of the guys. I hope I didn't forget. And my name is Emmanuel Davis. But before we close, let me ask you this question, and I want you to address this very frankly. Do you think the government of Liberia, with the comments, I mean, almost every press conference, almost every event, coming from the head of state, coming down to even some of the directors in government, indirectly promoted this June 7 protest that has reached up to today? Because in almost all of the speeches we heard after this protest was announced by the Council of Patriarchs, we've heard people, government officials, speaking about this over and over and over and again. To me, that is an indirect promotion of the protest. Because I know you have your candid opinion on that.
Sure.
Okay? You will go to functions, you will go to cover programs. Those programs will be exclusively directed to other Thanksgiving or something different. But yet people will print T-shirts with banner headlines or whatsoever inscriptions, say no to June protests. For me, it reawakens the spirit of those who want to go and join the protest. Okay, so I think that the government of Liberia, government officials, indirectly, including President George, we are even up to today, promoted indirectly this protest. Today, the guys are walking like heroes. When they walk, you hear Harry Costa, hero. Darius DeLong, hero. Yeke Koluba, hero. I think they've helped to make these guys hero in no time.
Well,
heroes.
I mean, in as much as I may not want to condescend, you know, from everything you've said.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I want to believe that there was more than enough time that this government had to avert this
which they
protest
failed
from
to do.
And till today, we can only consider that, look, this was destined to happen. You know, perhaps it was just fate, F-A-T-E.
Yes.
That this must happen on June 7th. Because, like you said, for 2 months, since the protest was announced by the famous talk show host Henry Costa, I was watching him, I was viewing something and then heard him just talk about it on his talk show. And I had thought that the government would have moved in right away.
Okay.
Call him to a meeting and say, what is this? What are the intentions? You know, what is the motive behind this? Maybe in the early stage, they would have just curbed it before it even fully matured.
That is proactiveness.
Leaving an embryonic stage to a full maturity stage, it
you
would have
abort
been well.
Yes.
And so 2 months, in my opinion, was more than enough of time. If the government, you know, really wanted to avert this. But again, the government is also a democratic government.
Okay.
They would allow, all right, the freedom of speech. You know, of course, the decriminalization of free speech was an act that was passed, you know, months ago by the president, and the Table Mountain Declaration. So in effect, maybe it was a way of saying, let's exercise the things that we have championed
let's test
as
this
a
law.
people, and let's test the law.
Okay.
You know, so all we can witness or all we can anticipate is these laws being put to test.
Okay.
And that is what we are saying. As much as the protesters are going to have their freedom to come on the street and exercise their franchise. May they bear in mind that, hey, to exercise your franchise, it also comes with responsibilities. It comes with the consciousness of knowing that, look, everything I'm doing is not about me, but it's about Liberia. So when the sincerity speaks, all right, it is coinciding with the actions. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing real sincere Liberians tomorrow take to the streets and, like I said, amplify the message that you have to give. Let the message be more than the messenger.
Okay.
And once we focus on the message even more, it means that the protest would be a successful one, because then the government will listen. The government will have to take the message and find a time to provide redress to whatever the concerns are,
Okay.
rather than just dismissing the entire thing.
Let the message be more than the messenger.
Than the
I like
messenger.
I like that. That's very good. And I like to leave you with this. To whom much is given,
Much is expected. I will end it for
much
you.
is expected. So, the government of the Republic of Liberia has played her part. She tried and failed. She could not abort this at the embryonic stage. It has grown
Into a
to
full baby.
yes. Okay. So at this stage,
And tomorrow is delivery, right?
yes, tomorrow is delivery.
Good.
So the process of delivery is escaping the womb and coming to an outside world
Yeah.
for growth and telling the world how capable you are
To perform.
to
a
perform
very good
certain
delivery.
things, certain tasks.
Yeah.
So the government of Liberia has played her part. Repeatedly, the president of Liberia has said, and of course his government, that they will equally provide protection for the protesters and that of the citizens that will be going about their normal businesses. And we hope that no one will come from the outside whatsoever to come and provoke anyone that will be a part of the protest. We don't want to see this at all.
The intruder.
So, yes, an intruder. So to whom much is given, much is expected. You have your time to protest tomorrow. If you are told to leave 3, present your petition, be it 50, 60 counts. The vice president has been designated to receive your petition.
And she's agreed, right?
Yes, and she will be patiently listening to you tomorrow. After the presentation, do have the ability. I remember when we spoke to Mr. Ure, Benona Ure, the chairperson of the 4 opposition political parties. I did ask him this question, and I said, do you have the ability to control the people that you will bring to the street to protest? He did say to me, and it is on record, yes, we will control our people. So, with that control mechanism being put in place, we hope that tomorrow will be a peaceful process. The American Embassy, ECOWAS, UN, our brothers and sisters will cheer us as the oldest country on this continent. My name is Emmanuel. I am again profoundly humbled and exceedingly gratified to have you, a senior brother, all by my side tomorrow, and we will be doing our thing tomorrow.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
really appreciate.
Yes.
And I would relive the memory. I can assure you that. We want to say to all of our listeners and viewers that they can expect nothing but a magnetic explosion.
Thank
With
you
this
so
team, it's going to be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
God willing, inshallah.
Do have a great time. Thank you.
Looking for a quality and affordable insurance company? Then look no further. Peter Massaco Insurance, located in central New Jersey, is one of the best around. Peter Massaco Insurance specializes in homeowners insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, business insurance, and many more. We even offer a free financial planning consultation. We partner with over 20 top-rated companies to make sure we provide affordable prices to our clients. We have a full bilingual staff to fit your needs as well. Let Peter Massaco Insurance help you today.